Hey everybody, this is Andrew Jones with another Artcast. This is Inktober Day 6, and the subject is from the movie The Babadook. Or I guess that's how you say it. I've not even seen this movie. I hear a lot of good things, and I see a lot of neat images from the movie of this character, I guess. It's supposed to be good. It's on Netflix right now, so hopefully I'm going to check it out here soon, being October and all. But I kind of like the look of this character, which I guess is part of a book in the movie. And I've always wanted to do this technique where you just put a big blob of ink on the paper and use air to brush out these little tendrils. It wasn't until I got my airbrush set that I thought, well, maybe I'll do this on something, and I didn't really know what it would be. But as soon as I saw some of the artwork from this movie, I really thought that's a really good way to go with this. So I just kind of dove in, and as you can see here, it's a really neat effect. I was really happy with how it turned out. I think I watered down the ink in a few places just to get it to move around a little bit more, but I thought it turned out really good. I mean, it's just, those lines are just so cool to me. If you'll see in the picture, what I have attached to my airbrush is my Copic airbrush gun. Not attached to anything, it's just blowing out air. And that's what I use to do those air effects. And a lot of this is just lots and lots of ink. I should have used a bigger brush on this just to speed it up a little bit, but I just love this look, this very loose, sketchy look. And there's a lot of looks in here that I've been wanting to play with, and the problem with getting this kind of look is, for me, I always reach that point where I'm just afraid I'm going to screw it up. There's always that invisible line that I just seem to always not want to cross. I get to a point where I'm like, this is pretty good. If I keep going, I'm going to screw it up, and then I stop, and I don't know how it might have turned out. That big blob right there did not work. It did not do what I thought it was going to do or what I had in my head. Luckily, I was able to kind of recover from it and blow out some more of those really cool looking lines. I don't even know what I had intended to do there, but I know I almost panicked for a second when that blob of ink just kind of stayed there in that puddle of water. And again, I'm using my watercolor brush pens that have the water in the reservoir, and I've got a couple pens with different levels of black ink. So I've got one for light gray and one for dark gray, and that's what I'm using here. And then I've got another one that just has plain water in it that I use to kind of smooth out the edges and blend between the two. A little more air effects. I really like the way the bottom of this thing just kind of washes out at the bottom. Now here I am going in with that lighter gray ink wash. This is one of those points where I really wish I had gone in and just done this gray wash over the entire blank piece of illustration board. I didn't really like how, I didn't want to go right up to the edges because I was afraid that it would just bleed into the black ink, and some of those lines might kind of get smudged, and but I just don't like that kind of white halo around it. I mean, I think it has an interesting look, but it's not exactly what I had in my head. And I think here I'm just adding a little bit of texture. If you hold the Copic airbrush gun at a certain distance away from the paper and you use the sketch tip instead of the chisel tip, you kind of get this this textured spatter. I mean, it's not ideal for airbrushing, but it's kind of a neat side effect of how that system works, that it adds some really fine texture really quickly. So that was just a gray Copic marker that was in there that time. Here I'm going in and adding more gray. I was finding that gray was just a little too dark. It wasn't making the gradient into the light gray like I wanted to, which is why I'm using the paper towel to kind of blot out a little bit of it so the line between them isn't so harsh. And here is my Pro White ink. It's a really great bright white ink. It's a little thick. Even if I stir it up every time I use it, it still goes on pretty thick. So there's occasionally I need to water it down just a little bit. I don't think I did here. I just think it's a really cool look. This white ink over top the solid black. It's just such a creepy looking character. And at this point, I probably should have just stopped here, but I guess this character kind of wears a dark coat, and I needed to suggest something here, which is why I go in with this white. And I think it was just a little too white. I didn't want it to show up that much. I think I went back in later and kind of put in some more ink wash over top of it to kind of dull it down a little bit. But overall, I was really happy with this piece. It got a huge reaction on Instagram. And for me, huge is like 40 likes or more. But I was really happy with the reaction it got. And as I record this, it's still up for sale. So check out my store. Here's the finished piece. Thanks, guys. See you for the next one.